Okay. Hi guys. Welcome. Welcome to our class today. Welcome guys. How are you doing? How's everything going? I hope you are having a wonderful day today. I hope you're having a wonderful day today. I don't on this. Hello guys. How are we doing? Hope you're having a wonderful day today. Hope everyone is fine. Hope everyone is fine. Hope everyone is fine. Today, welcome guys. Today, we'll be looking at how to solve quadratic equation by factorization method. Okay, today we are going to study how to solve quadratic equation by factorization method. If you are new here, just give it a like, give it a thumbs up. Let's move on. It's nice to have you here today. So let's learn how to solve quadratic equation by factorization method. When you hear this term, it's just trying to express the quadratic equation in two factors. Okay? So let's say, for instance, we are trying to solve x squared plus 5x plus 6 equal to 0. This is clearly a quadratic equation. Okay? Reason because this is a square. Highest power is 2, and we have is equals to 0. Equality sign makes it an equation. So first thing you have to consider in solving by factorization method is to look at the leading coefficient. If the leading coefficient is 1, here we have 1. You now go to the last term. You look at the factors of the last term. The last term is 6. When we talk about factors, we are talking about of the last term, factors of 6. We are talking about all the numbers that can divide 6 without any remainder. So the numbers include 1 can divide 6, 2 can divide 6, 3 can divide 6, and 6 can divide 6. These are the possible factors of what? 6. And also the negative factors also. So you can have minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 6. These are factors of 6. So then, once you think of that factor, you are going to think of the one that multiplies to get the 6. But if you add those two factors together, you are going to get the middle term. And the middle term is 5. So the factors now is now 2 and what? 3. Do you understand it? If you understand it, give us a like, give us a thumbs up. Let's know you're following. Give us a like, give us a thumbs up. Let's know you're following. Please like, comment your location. I'm in Abuja. So if you have this, we are using the factors 2 and 3, right? So you can now see plus 2x, then plus 3x, then plus 6 is equals to 0. Okay? We use the factors to expand the middle term, 5x, because 2x plus 3x is always 5x. So you can now group the first two terms and group the last two terms. The next thing you do is to factor out the common term. Write in the comment, what's the common between x squared and 2x? Let's know, what's common between x squared and 2x? What's common between x squared and 2x? What's common between x squared and 2x? Let's know down in the comments, what's common between x squared and 2x? What's common between x squared and 2x? You can see that what's common there is x. So you factor out x, you'll be left with the term x, then if you factor out x from 2x, you are left with 2. Then go to this one, you factor out the common term. What's common between 3x and 6? The thing that is common there is basically 3. So you have plus 3. If you factor out 3 from 3x, you are left with x. Then if you factor out 3 from 6, if 3 divides 6, you are having it as 2. So is that 0? So understand one thing, you understand that these two brackets are the same. So you have to pick a factor, that's pick out one, x plus 2. Then you use these factors x and 3x. You have it as x plus 3, and that's equals to 0. In quadratics, when two things multiplies to give 0, we have to equate each term to 0. That means x plus 2 is equals to 0, or we say that x plus 3 is equals to 0. So what's the value for x in the first one? Let's know the answer. X plus 2 is 0. What will be the value of x? What will be the value of x? What will be the value of x? If x plus 2 is 0, what will be the value of x? If x plus 2 is 0, what will be the value of x? What will be the value of x? What will be the value of x? You can see that at this point, you see that x will be equals to, you subtract 2 from both sides, minus 2, or we say that x will minus 3 from both sides will be equals to minus 3. So the two possible values is that x is plus 2 and x is what? Minus 3. That's the answer. Let's know your thoughts in the comment. Thank you so much for liking the video. Thank you. Please like, share, please. Like the video, comment your thoughts. So these are the possible solutions for x. So let's take a good look at another problem. This is just the first. So the next one we have is x squared minus 7x plus 10 is equals to 0. Okay, so what do we do here? We are trying to solve for the value of x using factorization method. So our goal is to do what? Our goal is to express this quadratic equation as a product of two factors. Okay? So to do that, we observe another thing, that the coefficient of x squared is 1. So what do? We think of two numbers that whenever we multiply them together, we are getting 10. But if we add them together, we get minus 7. Because this is the sum and this is the product. So we look at the factors of 10 that can work. We look at 2 and 5. 2 times 5 is 10. And 2 plus 5 is 7, not minus 7. But if you know that if you multiply minus 2 and minus 5 together, you are going to get plus 10, because minus minus is plus. Then if you add minus 2 to minus 5, you are going to get minus 7. So these two particular factors satisfy the terms needed. So we have it as x squared minus 2x, then minus 5x plus 10 is equals to 0. I used the two factors to expand the bracket. So if I do this now, I can now have this to be a unit bracket. Then I will now have this to be another bracket. I intentionally use this plus so that you cannot see this as product. So I want you, what can we factor out in x squared minus 2? Let me know in the comments. What can we factor out in x squared minus 2? Let me know in the comments. What can we factor? Please like the live section, share the live sections. Like the live video, please share the live video. Where are you watching from? Let's know where you're watching from, please. Let's know where you're watching from. Okay, that notwithstanding, you can now see that if you look at x squared and x, you can factor out x from here. Factor out, you have x, you are left with x minus 2. Then if you look at this, you can factor out the common term, minus 5, minus 5. Factor out minus 5, you're left with x. Factor out minus 5, you have minus 2, and that's 0. Understand, we've made these boxes to be minus 2, right? So we'll bring it out, x minus 2. Then we use this product to form x minus 5 is 0. And in quadratics, when two things multiplies to get 0, one of them is 0 or both are zeros. So x minus 2 is 0, or we say that x minus 5 is 0. So I want you, for the first value, what's the value for x? For the first value, can you tell me the value for x? Please like this video. Like the live video, please. Like the live video, please. Like the live video. So you have it that x minus 2 is equal to 0 and x minus 5 is equals to 0. What then is the values of x for each solution? Let's know down in the comments. So for us to do that, you see that x is equals to 2 because we are adding 2 to both sides. Or we say that x is equals to, we add 5 to both sides, 5. So these are the two possible values for x. So x will be 2 or x will be 5. That's the answer. So let's go to the next value. Please, if you enjoy the live session, please double tap, drop your question in the comments so that we can solve together. Double tap, drop your question in the comments. Remember, we are looking at quadratic equation. We have it at x squared minus x minus 12 is equals to 0. If you do this, we are going to now look into when they have more than one. So what do we do here? We look at the factors of minus 12 because the leading coefficient here is 1. So what are the factors of, if you know the factors of minus 12 that can serve, let's know down in the comments. What's the factors of minus 12 that can serve? Let's know down in the comments. What's the factors of minus 12 that can serve? Let's know down in the comments. You can see that can also yield minus 1. You can see if you multiply minus 4 and plus 3, minus 4 times plus 3 is minus 12, and minus 4 plus 3 is minus 1. So we can now say that x squared minus 4x plus 3x minus 12 is 0. Then if you agree on this, we can now group the two. We group the two. Factor the common term x. You factor x, you are left with x will be left here, minus 4. Then factor the common term here, plus 3. You are left with x minus 4, and that's 0. The two brackets are now the same as usual. You can now say x minus 4 into x plus 3, and that's equals to 0. If you understand this, we can now equate each term. X minus 4 is 0, or we say that x plus 3 is 0. Okay? If x minus 4 is 0, you can now see that x is equals to, you're adding 4 to both sides, 4, or you say that x, you subtract 3, is equals to minus 3. So the possible solution is that x is 4 and x will be minus 3. These are only possible solutions that we can use. Please, let's know where you are watching from. Let's know where you're watching from. Drop the comments. Tell us where you're watching from. Tell us where you're watching from. Where are you watching from? Please let us know. Thank you for joining. Let us know where you're watching from. Let us know where you're watching from. Please also like the live section. Please like the live video so that we can continue. Okay, that's it. So let's look at a situation where we have the leading coefficient to be more than 1. The first question is 2x squared plus 7x plus 3 is 0. That's the first question we look at. 2x squared plus 7x plus 3 is 0. First thing you do is that you look here, we have a problem. The problem is that we have the leading coefficient to be 2. So what do we do to factor this out? It's very, very simple. All you need to do is to multiply the leading coefficient to the last term. So the leading coefficient is 2 and the last term is 3. 2 times 3 is what? 6. So use 6. Then look at the factors of 6. Now once you multiply them, you get the middle term, which is 7. And once you multiply them, you get the last term, which is 6. But if you add those two factors, you get the middle term, which is 7. So the factors are when you multiply 7, when you multiply 6 and 1, 6 times 1 is 6, 6 plus 1 is 7. So these are the factors. So we have 2x plus 6x plus x, because this is 1x, then plus 3 is 0. Then we group as usual. If you group the first two, you also have to group the last two. Please give it a like. Please give it a like. Drop the comments on how the class is going. Rate the class out of 10. Then if you look at this, you can see we factor the common term, which is 2x. Factor out 2x, you are left with a single x here, x, plus if you factor out 2x, you'll be left with 3. If you look at this, these are now the same. You can just factor out 1. You are left with x plus 3, and that's equals to 0. Okay? So if you have this now, this and this becomes a new term. So you have it as 2x plus 1 into x plus 3, and that's equals to 0. So if you have this, when two terms multiplies to give 0, that means one of them is 0 or both are zeros. That means 2x plus 1 is 0, or we say that x plus 3 is 0. Okay? So we have to subtract 1 from both sides. 2x is equals to minus 1. Divide by 2, divide by 2. If you divide by 2, you see that x is equals to minus half. Then for the second value, you just have to subtract 3 from both sides. You see that x is equals to minus 3. Please drop in the comments. Tell us where you're watching. Tell us where you're watching. Are you following? Tell us where you're watching. Bangladesh, thank you for coming online. Thank you. That's how to solve the thing. Please, Aesthetic, please drop a like, drop a comment. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining. So let us know where you're watching. Thank you for joining. It's very, very interesting to have you. So remember, we are looking at how to solve quadratic equations. We are looking at how to solve quadratic equations, and it's very, very interesting to know that. Give it a like, give it a comment, and let us know. So look at the next one. 3x squared minus x minus 2 is 0. 3x squared minus x minus 2 is 0. We use our usual pattern. What's the pattern? We multiply the last leading coefficient to the last term. The leading coefficient is 3 times the last term is minus 2. So the answer is minus 6, right? So we are going to think of two numbers that multiplies to get this minus 6, but adds up to get the middle term, which is what? Minus 1. So what will be the factors? It's revolving around minus 3 times 2 again. Minus 3 times 2 is giving minus 6, and minus 3 plus 2 is minus 1. So we are going to use this particular factor. So if you apply it, you have it as 3x squared minus 3x plus 2x minus 2 is 0. We can now group as usual. Please drop a like, drop a comment. Please support me by liking, commenting. It will help the video to reach more audience, please. So we factor out the common term 3x. You have it as 3x. You are left with x minus 1. Okay. If you factor the common term 2 plus 2, you are left with x minus 1, and that's 0. Okay. So you can now see that we use the two factors. We have it at 3x plus 2 into x minus 1 is 0. Okay. So if you have this now, you can now see we are having this. When two things multiplies to get 0, one of them is 0 or both are zeros. You have it at 3x plus 2 is 0, or we have x minus 1 is 0. So we subtract 2 from both sides. 3x is equals to minus 2. You all have to divide by 3 and divide by 3. If you divide by 3, you see that x is equals to minus 2 over 3. Then x minus 1 is the next one. You see that x is equals to 1 because that we added 1 to both sides. Please do well to like, do well to share, do well to like, do well to share, do well to like. Thank you for commenting. Thank you. Who want to join? You're sending me a link to join. Okay, let me accept you, designer. So if you have any problem or anything, let me know. Okay, you're watching from India. Thank you so much. Thank you for watching. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So that's how we solve the problem. It's very, very easy to do. It's very easy to do. Very, very easy to do. Very, very easy to do. So we have the next one. The next one on our list. This is simple. 4x squared minus 9x is 0. Okay? 4x squared minus 9x is 0. This is very simple. Do you know the reason? If you look at it, you can see that x is common, right? So 4x squared and 9x is this. So you can now see we can factor the common term x. Factor x, what are you left? What is left? You'll be left with 4x. Okay? Since you factor that x, you'll be left with 9, and that's 0. So the two things that are multiplying is that x will be 0, x is equals to 0, or 4x minus 9 will be equals to 0. Okay? If you understand this, you can now see that 4x minus 9 is 0. We add 9 to both sides. Okay? You have it that 4x is equals to 9. Divide through by 4, divide through by 4. Once you divide by 4, you see that x is equals to 9 over 4. And that's the answer. X is what? 9 over 4. Do well to like and comment, share the video so that more people will see it. Let us know where you're watching from. Thank you so much. Let us know where you're watching from. Like the live section, please. Like the live section. So that's how we solve it. Let's look at the next question on our list. At least we've been here for more than 20 minutes. Okay, so let's look at the next question on our list. We are told to solve 5x squared plus 13x plus 6. Okay, so for us to solve this, can you try it? Try it and let me know your answer. Try it and let us know the answer in the comments. Try it. 5x squared is equal to 0. So all you need to do is very simple. Multiply the last two, you have 30. Okay? Because 5 times 6 is what? 30. 5 times 6 is 30. And once you have 30, you are going to think of two numbers that whenever you multiply them, you get 30. But if you add them together, you must get what? 13. Okay? So what are the numbers? Can you tell me? Once you multiply 15 by 2 gives what? By 2 gives 30. But if you add them, it cannot give you 13. Okay? Another one is 5 times 6 is 30, but the sum is what? 11. So it doesn't work. So what's the next one? What are the next factors of 15? 3 times 10 is 30. If you add them together, you are getting 13. So we are going to use the two factors, 3 and 10. So we have it that 5x squared plus 10x plus 3x plus 6 is 0. The two factors plays the role of the middle term so that as the sum in quadratics. So if you have this, you can now group the first two and group the last two. If you group them, you factor out the common term in the box. If you look at 5 is here, 10 is here, so you factor out 5. Okay, then x squared is here, x is here, you factor out x. Then you are left with what? You factor out x. So you are left with what? X plus 2, because 5x times x is 5x squared. 5x times 2 is 10x. Factor out the common term. The common term is 3 plus 3. You are left with x plus 2, and that's what? 0. Okay? So if you look at this, the two brackets are now the same. If the two brackets are now the same, we use it to form a bracket, x plus 2. Then you are having the next one, 5x plus 3, and that's equals to 0. Okay? So if you have this, when two brackets multiplies to give 0, one of them is 0, or both of them are zeros. You have it that x plus 2 is equals to 0, or you have 5x plus 3 is equals to 0. At this point, what do? You have x is equals to minus 2, subtracting 2 from both sides. Then here you have 5x is equals to minus 3, subtracting 3 from both sides. Then you divide by 5 and divide by 5. If you divide by 5, 5 will be out. So you see that x is equals to minus 3 over 5. So x is equals to minus 3 over 5. Found the video interesting? Support us by liking, sharing the video. Okay, let us know where you're watching from. Like, comment, tell us where you're watching from. Tell us where you're watching from. Tell us where you're watching from. Please tell us where you're watching. I'm teaching from Nigeria. Tell us where you're watching from. Okay, so that becomes the answer. So this is the simple way to solve this quadratic equation. So it's very, very simple. It doesn't take much time. It's very, very easy. Okay. It's very, very simple. It doesn't take much time. So let's look at number 20. Number 20, from here we have 3x squared plus 10x minus 8 is 0. Okay, 3x squared plus 10x minus 8 is 0. Okay, to solve this, our goal is just to find the value of x. Okay, to find the value of x, multiply the last two terms. If you multiply, what are you getting? 3 times 8 is minus 24, right? So you are going to think of two numbers that once you multiply, you get negative 24. But if you add them together, you are going to get 10. So what are the two factors that will give you that? So when you multiply 8 by 3, 8 times 3 is 24, but the sum doesn't give 10. Okay? So what again? You have 12 times 2 is 24. Does the sum give 10? Then this will be minus 2. Okay? Because we are looking at minus 24. So our factors is 3x squared plus 12x minus 2x minus 8 is 0. Then here we now group the first two and the last two. Please put a point plus here so that it won't be multiplication. Okay? So give the live video a thumbs, like, comment, so that we continue. Like, comment. Okay, I said hi. How are you? How are you? Like, comment, so that we can continue. Rehan Khan, where are you watching from? Tell us where you're watching from, please. Tell us where you're watching from in the comments. Tell us where you're watching from in the comments. Tell us where you're watching from in the comments. So if we have this, you can see that we have a common factor, 3x. So we factor out 3x. We are left with ordinary x. You can see that here we'll be left with what? 4. 4. Okay? So here we factor out minus 2. We are left with x minus x plus 4, and that's 0. We use these two to form a bracket. If you use it, you have 3x minus 2. Then you are left with x plus 4, and that's 0. So we equate each term to be 0. That is 3x is equals to 2. Sorry, 3x minus 2 is equals to 0. Or we say x plus 4 is equals to 0. If you have that, you see that 3x is equals to 2. Divide by 3, divide by 3. If you divide by 3, x is equals to 2 over 3. Then for this one, you subtract 4 from both sides. You see that x is equals to minus 4. Okay? So x is minus 4 and x is 2 over 3. Give the video a like. Give the video a like. Comment. Tell us where you're watching from. Tell us where you're watching from. Tell us where you're watching from. Give the video a like. Tell us where you're watching from. And that becomes the answer. So that's the answer. So let's move on. Tell us where you're watching from and let us know if you're enjoying the video. And so we continue. Look at the next one. 2x squared minus 3x minus 5 is 0. Okay, let's solve this one together. To solve this is very simple. Multiply the leading coefficient to the last term. You have 2 times minus 5, and that's minus 10. That's minus 10. Then think of two numbers that if you multiply them, you are going to give, let me know the answer. What is the number that if you multiply them, you are going to get the middle term? You're going to get minus 10, but the middle term is going to be minus 3. What is the number? Tell me the number. Okay, so you can see that the numbers are 2x squared. You are going to choose, since you have minus 4, you are going to also choose the two factors because that's the only thing that works. But here you have minus 5x plus 2x minus 5 is 0. So if you group the factors, just group it. If you group the factors, what are you getting? You factor the common term x, you are left with x minus, you are left with 2x minus 5. We can only pick out one. We are left with 2x minus 5, and that's 0. So here you can now see that x plus 1 in a bracket into 2x minus 5 in a bracket is 0. In that case, when two things multiply to give 0, one of them is 0 or both are zeros, meaning that x plus 1 is 0, or we have 2x minus 5 is 0. We have to subtract 1 from both sides. You have x is equals to minus 1. Good. Then we have it that 2x is equals to 5. I added 5 to both sides. So divide 3 by 2, divide by 2. If you divide by 2, you see that x is equals to 5 over 2. So x is 5 over 2 and x is minus 1. Is it what you got? Is it what you got? Let us know. Let us know. Do you have any question on this? Are you finding it difficult? Let us know where you're watching from. Please give the live video a like. Like the live video. Please like the live video. Tell us where you're watching from. Please like the live video. Tell us where you're watching from. Please like the live video. Tell us where you're watching from. Support your tutor. Support your tutor by liking the live. Tell us where you're watching from. Like the live. Tell us where you're watching from. Like the live. Tell us where you're watching from. And that's it. So this is an easy method of solving quadratic equation. Okay, this is an easy method of solving quadratic equation. So you can just master it and use it to solve problems regarding, and depending on any type of problem, is very, very easy to do. Very, very easy. Let's look at this. You have 3x squared plus 8x plus 4 is 0. This is another problem we're going to look at. 3x squared plus 8x plus 0. Using the same method, multiply the leading coefficient to the last term. 3 times 4 is 12. So think of the numbers that once you multiply them, you are going to get 12. But if you add them, you get 8. What is the number? You see, when you multiply 6 and 2, 6 times 2 is 12. 6 plus 2 is 8. So we use it. So we have it as 3x squared plus 6x plus 2x plus 4 is 0. Then the next thing we do is just to group the first two and the last two. If you group, what are you getting? If you factor the common term, you have it as 3x. You'll be left with x. For the first one, 3x times x is 3x squared. Then the next one, plus factoring out 3x from 6x, you'll be left with 2. Then the next one, you factor the common term 2 plus 2, you are having it to be x plus 2 is 0. This bracket and this bracket are the same. Now form a union bracket, x plus 2. Then use 3x and 2 to form a new bracket. You have it as 3x plus 2, and that's 0. Then you equate each term to be 0. X plus 2 is 0, or you say 3x plus 2 is 0. X plus 2 is 0, you have it that x is equals to minus 2. That's the value for x. Then for the second one, 3x plus 2 is equals to 0. Subtract 2 from both sides. 3x is equals to minus 2. Then divide 3 by 3, divide by 3. If you divide by 3, x is equals to minus 2 over 3. So these are the two possible solutions for x. If you found the video interesting, please give us a like. Give us a like, comment, tell us where you're watching from. 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 Where are you watching from? Where are you watching from? Tell us where you're watching from. You're watching from. Okay. And that becomes the answer. So let's solve the last one for the day. The last question for the day. Last question for the day. The last question for the day should be let's do 2x squared minus 7x plus 3 is 0. So what do you do? You multiply the first and the last term. You have to do 2 times 3, and that's 6. Then think of two numbers that multiplies to get 6 but adds to get -7. The numbers can be, two possible numbers can be 6, -6, and -1. These are the two numbers that multiplies to give what is needed. So you can now see you have 2x squared minus 6x minus x, then plus 3 is 0. You group the first two and group the last two. Then remember you put a positive sign so that this will not be multiplication. So you can now see that you factor the common term 2x. 2x is common here. You have x minus 3. You factor the common term -1. You are left with x minus 3, and that's 0. Okay? 2x and -1 will be a bracket, 2x minus 1. Then x plus 3 will be a bracket, x minus 3, is 0. When two terms multiplies to get 0, one of them is 0 or both of them are 0. You have 2x minus 1 is 0. That's 2x is equals to 1. When I add 1 to both sides, divide by 2, divide by 2, divide by 2, x is equals to minus half. X is equals to half. Then for this one, x is equals to 3 because you have to add 3 to both sides. So this is actually how we solve quadratic equation. Thank you so much for spending quality time with me. I really appreciate the class. Thank you.